Digimon imports, something the series has not been particularly great at over the years. We've seen it a couple of times, more recently with things like the Sleuth duology, Next Order going from Vita to PS4, and Redigitize going from PSP to 3DS. But for the most part, the series has been pretty bad at letting people play and experience its older games, so today I want to talk about that and how that could change very soon. And for everyone wondering, the Survive video should be out soon and the script for it is almost done, but I just got a new mic and I wanted to test it out before I recorded that, while also getting out a video this month so you all know I'm still alive and didn't take the money and run. I was thinking about Digimon ports in general in terms of what videos to make already, but also because I recently saw the Snatchmon line from Digimon World 3 get entirely new artworks, which made me think maybe something is planned down the line port-wise. It's not, it's for the card game, but let me please cling to hope. So jumping off that potential, I'm just going to talk about some ports and remakes I'd like to see. Also, this video is going to be a bit sloppier in both editing and scripting since I'm just kind of writing this up, recording it, then throwing it out there into the YouTube void. Also, I'm only going to focus on the main important games I think would immediately benefit the series. Now, if I had the power, I'd put every Digimon game on every system. Even those weird old arcane games that nobody has ever actually played and that just exist on wikis as a sick practical joke, but I want to keep this video somewhat contained. Starting off, the original 3 Digimon World games are in such a perfect place to just pretty them up a bit, add some quality of life, and slap it in a legacy pack for like 20-30 bucks. I just recently replayed Digimon World 1 slightly up-resed and it looked honestly really solid, and that goes for the other 2 games as well. All 3 have their own unique aesthetic designs that will obviously age, look very unique, and I think could be appreciated by more people today, especially with the context that these are, well, PS1 games and from their time. Add on some save state potential for World 1, and some speed up options for the large amount of grinding in World 2 and 3, increase loading speed for all of them, and bam, a nice little collection. These 3 games have effectively gone on to influence nearly every Digimon game after them in some way, and with the series growing more and more, it's important for people to know and understand its roots. Digimon World 1 embraced the Tamagotchi V-Pet design while expanding it to an explorative adventure. The island is dense, fun to explore, incredibly atmospheric, and finding and recruiting Digimon to your town is rewarding. Not to mention that V-Pet gameplay design is still to this day incredibly unique. But the game is also in some ways archaic, and some quality of life could help sort out the more brutal aspects of its design, so you aren't punished for making the cardinal sin of playing this game blind. Digimon World 2 is effectively the foundation for the eventual story series with its 3-on-3 bulk raising style. It's very grindy, but it can be one of those nice Sunday afternoon grinds. It also established the baseline setting for a lot of the games that utilize Digimon World societies. It's my least favorite of the 3 due to its slow nature, weak area design, and overall stiff feel, alongside me not growing up with it, among other things. But some quality of life would really help it out, maybe even the most out of the original trilogy. And 3, while it has yet to get a true proper successor, has had bits and pieces of it influence the design of many later Digimon games. And personally has one of my favorite settings in Digimon, opting for an MMO setting that meshes so well with the idea of the digital world being this fusion of the digital and the real. It also utilizes a limited pool of Digimon which works well with the setting and provides a more unique experience using its small pool of Digimon as almost classes that emulate MMO archetypes. The art style being 2D for its overworld has also let it age the best out of the 3, and it still looks good to this day. But it's also filled to the brim with grinding and backtracking, which combined with a questionable random encounter rate can definitely mar the experience for some people. The quality of life I suggested would allow for some of the game's flaws to get ironed out while not taking away the experience of someone who wants to play them as they were intended. Want to play Digimon World 1, forget the save and waste a day? Cool. Want to have that save state potential so you can go back and make sure you do the right thing and this terrible Monochromon shop doesn't ruin your week? Also cool. Want to play Digimon World 2 where every attack has a 3-hour startup, or play Digimon World 3 without spending 3 years of your life grinding? Fantastic. All 3 of these games are massively flawed, but I grew up with Digimon World 1 and 3 and they're some of my favorite experiences in the series and on the PS1 in general. If you can't tell, I don't like 2 as much, but I still do enjoy it, and like the other 2, just some minor upgrades here and there would help smooth out the experience a lot, and I would love for more people to be able to experience these games outside of an emulator. But moving on, the one game I was really thinking about that truly spawned this video was Digimon Redigitized Decode, the 3DS re-release of Digimon Redigitized. Both games are currently Japanese only, and while both have been translated thanks to the hard work and dedication of some great fans, the PSP version is much easier to patch and play, and the 3DS one has a few more complications. When I eventually go to do the Redigitized review, unless something changes, it'll very likely be the PSP version, which has less content and refinement, simply because it's much easier for people to just play in the first place without jumping through a few extra hoops. And even then, the PSP version is still perfectly good. It's a game very similar to World 1 using the VPET style. And while I feel like it does lose a few charm points and even some design points here and there, it makes up for it by being a cleaner experience than the World 1, which could be brutal, and this game is definitely a lot more on the level. It's easier to get into, play, and learn its rules, and it's probably the easiest of the 3 current VPET World titles. You aren't as severely punished for not growing up with this kind of game and not knowing certain aspects of its raising style, and it's easier to get acclimated as a result. It would also be a nice symbolic port, as the petition that arguably led to Digimon being back in the West in the first place started with Redigitized as its focus, and having the game officially translated and in the West would be a huge win for fans in the series. Also, because I really want to play this version of Redigitized without inconveniencing myself too much, because I am lazy and it looks really good and I want to play it, give it to me now. As for other remakes I'd like to see given the newfound popularity of the Digimon story series, I think the DS titles, while also deserving of a potential port, would also do really good as just straight up remakes to capitalize on the series' newfound boost in audience. So either clean them up like the original World Trilogy and slap them on modern systems, or do a straight up remake with the modern Digimon 3D style to exploit the fact that this is currently the socially acceptable game form for Digimon to be in right now. While I enjoyed the aesthetics of Sleuth and Hackers and how different they were from older Digimon titles, I'm kinda hungry for a new 3D story game that explores more of the natural ends of the Digimon world, especially after playing Survive, which is in one such setting. I know the pre-reveal information for the next story game is to imply we'll be going back to the actual digital world again, but I really like the setting of both World DS and Dawn and Dusk and would love to see either or both in proper full 3D. Or once again, I'd be fine with them as just another packed together set of games to release and still think they would do well. If anything, they'd also benefit from having their Wi-Fi functions easier to use, as both games limited certain Digimon behind their Digi-Egg Wi-Fi mechanics, meaning this would allow more people to access more Digimon without needing to do certain things. I also think people would also appreciate the similarities to the Sleuth titles, but also the differences like the settings, and also how Digimon have set lines, which makes it different in feel to the Sleuth games. There are also a couple Digimon that didn't make the actual jump to 3D yet, and that could be novel for newer players as well. They'd also both benefit from quality of life improvements like Digimon World DS's slow scan rate being sped up would benefit the game massively as well, and even just this change would likely shave minutes off the game's time. This could even be a good chance to officially translate Digimon Story DS games you never officially got in the West either, like Lost Evolution or those funky Crosswar games. While Digimon World 1 and 3 were my childhood, these are my teen Digimon games, and I'd love for more people to be able to play them in some way as well. As I was going through Digimon's catalog of video games to try and find one more for this list, despite it not being the last entry on the video, I found myself thinking, wow, it's sad we never got the PSP adventure game. For those who don't know, they turned Digimon Adventure into a turn-based RPG that follows the anime and is very dedicated to emulating it. I would still recommend watching the original adventure over it, but I don't know, it's cute, it's fun, I like it. And honestly, it's a treat for Digimon anime fans like me, and it would be a great way to get nostalgia bait, like how every once in a while Konami makes really bad anime archetype cards to sell to Yu-Gi-Oh fans. I honestly always wanted them to make more of these games for more animes, like an O2 game where they actually have Shakuamon and Sylphimon evolve to Mega 2, or a Frontier game where everyone gets their own fusion evolution. It's a good platform to improve certain aspects of these animes as much as they also celebrate them. And honestly, all they would need to do is translate it too. The original Japanese voice acting and music is great. It could even help dub-only watchers experience how another country primarily experienced the original adventure. I'd say it's the least important game on this list, but once again, it's cute. I like it. That's all. I was originally going to end this video with the Digimon World game that I started these videos with, Digimon World Next Order. However, in the middle of recording this, the game actually got announced for both Switch and PC, which I obviously take full credit for. That's a joke, please understand. This game is the most recent VPET World-style game. It's probably the most challenging of the 3 VPET titles, however, it's getting an easy mode added in, which would help with the game's accessibility. I like the PS4 release's difficulty and challenge and think it works well with all its progression systems while forcing you to do all you can to win. But I also know not everyone is like that, and some people may just want to play the game without the threat of getting their knees broken for not min-maxing every aspect of the game. The Switch release is good because it was originally a Vita title and it's going back home to a handheld, and honestly this style lends itself really naturally to a portable system for reasons I don't think need to be elaborated on. While in the Steam version, I'm excited for the potential mods that we could see in them, like new Digimon with new evolution requirements and even some new, maybe even DNA evolution requirements, to give the game more variety. I have a video on the game actually, it's a bit old and cringe now and I want to remake it one day, but it can give you a general gist of the game and its flow and if you're interested in Next Order. Sorry I couldn't touch on everything for this video, I wanted to cover the more important core games that should really be made more available to newer fans, or for older fans whose systems or games may no longer work. If you can't tell, I really like this series and I want more games in it accessible so more people can play them. The series has a new level of momentum it hasn't seen in years. It has great new games, a new card game, a new anime, and more fans are coming to like Digimon more than ever. Do you agree with my choices, or any particular port or remake I missed that you want? Let me know in the comments below, and next time I will get out Survive before the heat death of the universe. I think. I don't know.